We end exactly where we started.
He gives a very bad vibe to me.
I just can't believe she would do this to us. Incredibly unsatisfying.
With Valentine's Day coming up, I thought it would be fun to do a little romance reading vlog. So the next week, I'm going to read 2, maybe 3 romance books, and we're going to talk about them. So the first book that I have is the book I picked during my February TBR Jar Picks My TBR book. So first we have Never by Jessa Hastings. It doesn't have the best reviews, but I'm cautiously optimistic. If you don't know, Never is a Peter Pan retelling, and really that's all I know about it. It's a romance, so we're gonna see how it is. I just noticed, flipping through the book, there's a lot of footnotes, and I'm really excited to read those. I don't know, I love a good footnote. Her grandmother is Wendy. It's pretty fun. Who's our main character? Daphne. Daphne is our main character. Oh my goodness. We have Peter Pan. He's made an appearance. I wonder if the reason people don't like this book as much is because of the dialogue and the relationship between Daphne and Peter Pan. Because I was kind of liking the first few pages. I mean, I think it's pretty well written. I mean, Jessa Hastings has written a lot of books, a lot of Magnolia Parks books. I feel like she's pretty decent at writing. But I mean, it's probably too soon to really tell, but I don't know if I'm really feeling the banter, between Daphne and Peter. Daphne and Pan. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes as we continue. It's also kind of funny because I feel like Jessa Hastings intentionally made them both over 18. Is there spice in this? I've only read Magnolia Parks, not the rest of the series. I don't know if there's spice in Magnolia Parks. I don't really think I was expecting it, so we'll see. I mean, I guess I would rather read about 18-year-olds than 13-year-olds, so that could also just be why, but anyways. So I finished the first chapter, and I just want to give my first impressions. I am a little nervous. I feel like I can see why people might not like this book, and it probably depends on how it continues, but right off the bat, I'm not really into Peter Pan for the obvious reasons being that he is a boy. Even though in this book he's older technically, I feel like his mind and how he talks and who he is just so childlike, and it makes me really uncomfortable. The affection she feels for him and the little blushing that she has meeting him, even though he's kind of annoying her, it doesn't feel right. I really kind of hope there's not a romance between them. I hope it's mainly just with Hook, and it might be, because reading the back, Hook does come into this as a love interest, and I do feel like I'd be more into Hook from a story, not from the cartoon. So her great grandmother walked in after he came in through the window. Peter Pan was kind of disgusted by her. He was you're old? Like, why is some old person saying that they know me and that they're married? That's gross. Like, he couldn't keep the disgust off his face, basically, and that's disgusting of him. It's just, he gives a very bad vibe to me. I kind of hope that is what happens in the story, that Peter Pan is, like, not all he's cracked up to be, and we go for Hook instead. I'm using some tabs to annotate this book as I read, just because I think it'll be fun to mark the instances where we see how awful Peter Pan is. He's clearly, like a man-child. Like, he doesn't care about anyone else but himself. He forgets about everyone the instant something else comes along, or the instant they're out of sight. I kind of hope he doesn't really have any redemption, because I don't like Peter Pan. Like, in this book at least. He's really annoying in this book. I really do think that's intentional. Hook, we see he is, a pirate. He is kind of rough around the edges and not technically a great guy, but I suspect that he has a better heart than Peter Pan. This yellow is Peter Pan being a jerk. This light green is Daphne kind of being stupid, or like her insights into who she is. And then I have this little pink, this light pink for cute moments with Hook, of which there are one. There's a lot of yellows, because everything about Peter Pan is bothering me in this book. Literally everything in this book is suspicious to me. The Lost Boys have this medicine that they take, and Daphne has been taking it to encourage the littler ones to take it. And I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't trust that medicine. Something suspicious is in it. I don't trust anything.
So I ended up reading a lot last night, more than I expected. I am on chapter 16, page 264, like 2/3 of the way done. I was planning on putting an update in sooner, but the time just got away from me. You can see my progress through my stickies. I feel like my opinions are basically the same as when I started. Don't like Peter Pan. Hook is definitely the love interest we're supposed to be rooting for, but I was kind of hoping we would have more development than what we've gotten so far in the book. Like, I feel like I still feel like the relationship is new. Like, I don't know what meaningful interactions they've really had other than, like, he does things that are a lot kinder and better than Peter Pan does. There's definitely still some toxicity to her relationship with Hook, and I think it's supposed to be there because he's a pirate. Like, he's not supposed to be good, but also, like, is he even a pirate? I don't actually know that he is. Yeah, I think Jessa Hastings really knows how to write toxic relationships, which I think she does that well with Peter Pan. It is getting drawn out a lot. I mean, I've always hated Peter Pan since, like, he showed up in this book, but it's a little repetitive. Everything Peter Pan does poorly, and by poorly I mean, like, really awful things. It has escalated a little bit, but not as much, I think, as I would have hoped. Yeah, I feel like the story is a lot of just the same repeated over and over again. Like, I am enjoying it, but I do want a little more out of it. We are definitely progressing the plot, but I want more progression in the relationships. But I am enjoying it. I do think Jessa Hastings' writing is very good. It is definitely a very different writing style than I'm used to. And I do see like the similarities between this and Magnolia Parks in terms of writing. A lot less descriptions of what they're wearing compared to in Magnolia Parks, which makes sense. I'm definitely gonna land somewhere between 3 and 4 stars. I think the last third will really determine where in that range I'm gonna give it. Like, I don't know if it'll make it quite to 4 stars, but it could make it to 3.75. Or we could drop all the way down to 3. I just finished Never. When was someone gonna tell me this was a series? Why did nobody tell me? Ignore the fact that I definitely saw on Goodreads at some point that it was a series, and I just chose to ignore that because I fully thought this was a standalone until I reached the last page. I mean, I hoped it wasn't a standalone when I reached the last page because, oh my goodness, nothing happened in this book. We end exactly where we started. Angry. Like this whole time I was thinking, wow, Jessa Hastings just really knows how to do toxic relationships. Good thing that this one's not a series like Magnolia Parks. I feel like this could have done so well as a standalone. Like all we needed to do was not continue to run in circles another 50 times. But that's what we did. Like I feel like I was getting whiplash. I really thought that there was like no way that I was going to hate the ending, but I did, because it's not a standalone. Like I now fully understand why this is rated so low. I was looking through some of the reviews and I'm pretty sure a lot of people rated it 1 star purely because of the ending. There were some people that were definitely very angry because it was incredibly unsatisfying. When you write a series, you're supposed to, each book is supposed to have its own storyline. You know, like you're supposed to be satisfied at the end. Like you should still have questions and be like eager for the next book, but you're supposed to be like, something should be accomplished. Nothing was accomplished in this book. Like negative things. I don't think Daphne grew. I think she regressed. She definitely regressed. Like we learned a lot as readers. We're learning a lot about like the story and the world. And I'm just laughing because while I was reading, like things were coming up that I was like, oh, that's an odd thing to put in a standalone near the end of the book, because like we're not gonna, surely Jessa's not gonna find a way to like weave this in anymore into this book where we only have like 50 pages left. Like kind of a weird thing to include so late in a story. I guess I know what some things that are happening in the next book, some of the plot lines. I just can't believe she would do this to us. I haven't read all Magnolia Parks, but I know that series is like traumatizing. I didn't really think that she was gonna do that to us here. I don't know why. I thought it was just gonna be like a nice ending. I feel like we were gonna learn a lot. I was really excited to see Peter Pan and his toxicity put down. And also, at the end, there was like a bit of whiplash with Peter Pan. It was like she was trying to convince us he was actually a good guy. And if that is the point, we'll be very angry. I was also like, there's so many times in this book when I was like, wow, if this was a series, I really feel like this is what would happen. And now I have to go revisit all of those instances that I thought of because it is a series. At the very, like not the very beginning, but like just some of the things like Rye was saying, he's kind of like a side character. Like we don't really see much of Rye in this book. Like he seems like a good friend of Daphne. He's become a good friend to her in her time at Neverland. And I was just starting to think like, you know, I really feel like if this was a series, he could be like a real love interest. Like maybe he would be Endgame because he seems a lot better. Like a lot better than Peter Pan and Hook. Like no red flags in that man. he's a sweetie. He's wonderful. And he is like a little heartbreaking too, because she is not interested in him in the slightest. And so I just was like, okay, kind of a weird thing for Jessa Hastings to throw in there, like an idea that he might be a love interest, and then not talk about it the entire book or really do anything else with it, just kind of like plop that idea there. But now that I know it's a series, maybe we're not supposed to like Peter Pan or Hook. I do kind of feel like Hook is going to be redeemed. I do still feel that way. I'm starting to think maybe he's also supposed to be a bit like a Peter Pan, but more for us as readers. Because, you know, you see Peter Pan, who's like an obvious red flag, and then you see Hook, who's kind of like the bad boy who's like redeemed, and you're like, oh, but he's gonna be good. But maybe he's not. Maybe Jessa Hastings is trying to tell us you can't force a bad character to be good. You just gotta accept that they're the wrong choice. Yeah, so right now it's sitting firmly at like a 3-star. 3 stars because I did enjoy a lot of the book. I was very optimistic for a lot of the book. It doesn't feel like a complete book to me because of how it ended. Like, this is not, you're just like missing the ending here. Like, it just needs a few more chapters, or like delete a few chapters and rewrite them to wrap this up nicely, put a bow on it, and then it would be finished, and then I'd give it, you know, a little higher, maybe 3.5. Yeah, but right now I feel like 3 stars is a little generous just because of how angry I am at this moment. But once the second book is released and I read it, then maybe I can rate the series as like a whole. Miss Jessa Hastings is gonna do like another Magnolia Parks and just try and write like five books out of this one. I don't want that. I don't want more than 2 books in this series. I want it to be wrapped up and I want it to be done. Or at least have a happy ending in the next one, like a satisfying ending. I need a satisfying ending. And you know, the second book was supposed to be released in November of 2025. It is February, and I've looked for updates. There are no updates. Google still tells me it's supposed to be released in November 2025. It was not. Like, I don't know what's happening. Is the second book canceled because the ratings are so bad? It's possible. But I know she wrote it. I saw the preview on her Instagram. I would take the rough draft just to know, well, as long as, if she told me that, you know, it wrapped everything up, wrapped the whole series up, I would read the rough draft and then like be on my merry way. I need to rant a little bit. I really hope Daddy Issues is good because that's my next book. I've already borrowed it from the library. I have to read it. If that's not good, I do have an Emily Henry book next that I have to read. I'm reading People We Meet on Vacation, which wasn't my favorite Emily Henry book, but I want to reread it because, you know, the movie's out. And it's my book club book. Book club meets next week, so like, I gotta get on it. I haven't started. Yeah, at least we have Emily Henry to go to if all else fails. I just need some good romance. I can't be angry on Valentine's Day. I've started my next book, Daddy Issues by Kate Goldbeck. I think it's good so far. Haven't really started getting into the romance at all, but I like the writing. I think I like the characters enough. I'm hoping that throughout this book we see them pursue their passions, and our main character, Sam, kind of seems very depressed. And I'm really hoping that we see a turn in her life for her own sake. I do like her passion for comic books. She has a passion for comic books, kind of writing comic books, and I'm hoping to see more of that and to see her pursue that. He kind of likes comic books. He likes Star Trek. So I feel like they'd be a good match, but I don't know. I'm like 30% of the way through. Going through it pretty fast, honestly. Only 4 hours to go. I am now 73% of my way through Daddy Issues, which is pretty crazy because finished Never on Tuesday night. Read a chapter of this then, and now it's Thursday. I read a lot this morning. I feel like I was on like 30% this morning. I do feel like the relationship has been progressing pretty naturally. I think they went pretty quickly into the spicy bits. That's not necessarily abnormal. They're also like older. I mean, she's like 26, 27, and he's like 10 years older, 37 with a kid. I feel like they have a lot of cute moments, and there's a lot just like who they are, more like core or like little things like she doesn't know how to drive and her dad never taught her how to drive, and then he starts to teach her how to drive. Like just like little things like that come together, and that he does. You know, where she's like, you know, my dad didn't do this kind of stuff for me. This guy I had a situationship didn't do this kind of stuff for me. Because since he is a father, and she has kind of like not really a strained relationship with her father, but like her father's just absent. So she's seeing a lot more of like, oh, maybe what my father did and like how he didn't care as much about me wasn't normal. She didn't realize what that relationship could look like with a healthy father-daughter relationship. So there's like a lot of like almost more serious things like that I think add a lot to the story. I'm enjoying it. I'm not like, they're not my favorite characters. I'm not like absolutely rooting for them, but I am enjoying it. It is really cute. It is pretty light and easy to read. And, you know, it's about comic books, which I think is fun. I guess we'll see how it ends. I assume it's not going to end as poorly as Never did, but you never know. I'm gonna go finish this. Wouldn't be surprised if I finish it today. And if not today, probably tomorrow morning. So I have finished Daddy Issues, and overall my thoughts, I feel like, have remained pretty consistent throughout. I think there is depth there. I did like it. I did like the comic book element. I liked seeing her slowly, or at least at the end, discover like her dreams and a better idea of like what she wants to do with her life. You don't really get too much of that. I feel like you just kind of glimpse into like her finally finding her passion and like stop being depressing. I don't know if I want more of that, or like if I wish that was drawn out more, or if it was good the way it was. It was probably fine the way it was. I think it was as well done. I just like, I think I'm sitting at like a 3.75. Like I'll round up to a 4. I just don't think I care that much about the characters. I will say, so this is an age gap romance. I think he's like 10 years older than her. But because she's in her late 20s, I really didn't notice that much. Like he's in a different stage of life. Yeah, but I feel like it doesn't feel like what I imagine cringy age gap romances to be like, where she's like early 20s and he's like in his 30s, I guess. I've also read Problematic Summer Romance by Ali Hazelwood, and that's an age gap romance, and I love Ali Hazelwood, but that one I feel like they just focused way too much on the age gap part of it. I feel like that's what they were thinking about the whole time, whereas in Daddy Issues, I feel like I hardly noticed the age gap. Like obviously he has a kid, but I feel like I focus more on the fact that it's like dating someone who has a kid instead of dating someone who's a lot older. Like they're just in different stages of life, and I feel like the main distinguishing factor is the fact that he has a kid, not that he's older, if that makes sense. So in that sense, it kind of felt less about the age gap and more about the difference in life stage, which may seem like the same thing, but I feel like it's different. So I think in terms of age gap romances, this is what I would want to see in an age gap romance. I'm not like particularly into age gap romances, but if you are, I think this is a good one. Yeah, that's it. I have just started reading my next book, my last book in this video, People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry. This is not my favorite Emily Henry book. I feel like for Emily Henry, I love Funny Story. That's like, I remember it being fantastic. I really liked Beach Read, but that's also like one of the first books I read coming back into my reading era. I feel like I have to reread it to really know how it compares against the other romances I've read. I feel like People We Meet on Vacation sits solidly in the middle. I'm really just rereading it because the movie came out and I'm just trying to read all the books that have had movies come out recently or are having movies come out. So I'm reading People We Meet on Vacation. I'm on the prologue. So I don't know if I'll be able to finish it before the end of this video. I've already read it. I'll just tell you if I'm enjoying it more or less than the first time, I guess. Okay guys, I feel like I really rallied and I am now 50% of the way through People We Meet on Vacation. I think I read like a couple chapters last night and I just went for it today. And I don't know, I remember like this not being my favorite Emily Henry book, which is probably still valid. Like I think Funny Story is by far my favorite, but I think Funny Story must have just like overshadowed this book completely because I'm really enjoying it. Which I think I enjoyed it the first time too. I just feel like I'm enjoying it a lot more this time. Emily Henry just writes so beautifully and I feel like Alex and Poppy just have the most beautiful relationship and it really bothers me, of course. I don't know if they have like miscommunication or just at least Poppy, and we don't really see Alex's perspective. I feel like Alex just assumes that Poppy doesn't like him like that and they're just like friends or like brother and sister. But Poppy's like intentionally shoving her emotions down. And I guess she kind of feels like she couldn't possibly be loved or like, which comes up a few times in the book, but like her relationship with Alex is so good and Alex is so good. And really appreciating this book so much more this time around, I feel like. I don't know that I'm gonna finish this book in this video, but I feel like getting to 50% of the way through is good enough. I've also already read it, so like, I mean, it's definitely gonna be above a 4-star. I don't know if I'll give it 5 stars or not, but I feel like it's at like 4.5 right now. So I'm really excited to finish this and then watch the movie. I will update you later with how much I enjoy the movie and how true I feel that it is to the book. But like, I also feel like while I was reading, I was just imagining how they're doing it in the movie, or like I've seen the trailer, so a lot of parts I'm like, oh, I remember seeing this in the trailer, like I know they covered this, and I'm excited to see how that plays out. Because I feel like some of the scenes at least are pretty well matched in the movie. But I can't say too much right now because I haven't actually watched it yet. I'm really enjoying it. I think it's a really cute, fun read. It's such a great romance. And, you know, it's kind of told in like snapshots because you're going from the past and then like the present timeline. And I just feel like the past timeline, you know, you have like 10 years ago, 8 years ago, 7 years ago, whatever, in the chapters. And it's just like small snippets of who they were so long ago. And you just see them gradually like grow together as friends and their relationship strengthen and like it become messy. I feel like it's a really good book to read slowly, which I'm not doing. A really good reread, honestly. If you haven't read Emily Henry, I don't know what you're doing, but I highly recommend picking up People We Meet on Vacation. I just feel like it's such a great year for movies, for like book movies, so read the book, watch the movie, you can all experience this together. I'm just gonna wrap this video up here. All in all, I had a pretty good romance reading week. I really liked all the books I read. I was really enjoying Never. I love Jessa Hastings' writing style. Love and hate the toxic relationships. Absolutely hated the ending of Never and I'm really mad because I don't even know if a second book is coming out. Mixed feelings about that one. But up until the ending, I was really enjoying it. Daddy Issues was fun and light and like not too serious. I felt like I could just fly through it. People We Meet on Vacation is just heartwarming and a perfect reread. I hope you guys also read some good romance books this week or some anti-romance books. if that's the mood you're feeling in. Either way, I hope your 2026 is going well, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.